There comes a moment where it's now or never, where you've got to take one small step of faith, and it creates this domino effect in your life. It becomes a tipping point or a turning point. Mark Twain is purported to have said, if you ever have to eat a live frog, do it first thing in the morning, because then you will know that the hardest thing is behind you. Which is absolutely ridiculous, right? Like, I love it. Matt, I love making you laugh. And I mean, it's kind of hilarious to think about, but it's true. You've got to eat the frog. You've got to do that thing that's the hardest thing to check on your to-do box. It's the dream that is gathering dust. It's the goal that you are procrastinating. You cannot finish what you do not start. Wow. And so you almost need a start date as much as you need a deadline to go after some of the goals that you have.
Okay. So we need to flip the script, kiss the wave, eat the frog. We need to fly a kite. Okay. Why am I saying that?
I love it. Well, you know I love history, and so there's a little story behind that. When Charles Elliott Jr. was commissioned to build a bridge across the Niagara Gorge, we're talking about like somewhere around, I think, 1847. They had no idea how to do it because it was an 825-foot chasm with 225-foot cliffs on either side. So what they did, Matt and Laurie, is a kite flying contest. What? They flew a kite from one side to the other. It was a 15-year-old boy named Homan Walsh who won the $10 prize. And then what they did is they attached a rope to that string. Then they attached a cable to that rope. Eventually, it would become a railway suspension bridge that could support a 170-ton locomotive. The big idea is this. If you do little things like they're big things, God will do big things like they're little things, but you have to fly the kite and then let God build the bridge.
Yeah. I love it.
That's fantastic.
We've got to do what we can do so God can do what he only can do.
Wow. Yes, it's
Isn't it
so
something?
true. Just another fun piece of history. It was Elisha Otis, and that last name may ring a bell, Otis. He was the inventor of the elevator safety brake, but he couldn't sell them because everybody was skeptical. And so at the World's Fair in 1853, he gets on a platform in the Crystal Palace, and he has an axeman positioned above this elevator shaft, and he says, "Cut the rope." And the elevator falls a few feet. And it is like one of the greatest sales pitches in history. At the time, Matt and Laurie, there were only 5 buildings in New York City taller than 5 stories because no one wanted to take the stairs.
Yeah.
Fast forward 1908, 538 buildings that qualify as skyscrapers. Did you know that according to the Otis Elevator Company, the equivalent of the world's population rides on their elevators every 3 days? I think you could say that Elisha Otis turned the world upside down.
Seriously.
How did he do it? He cut the rope. Playing it safe is risky. I think there comes a moment where, and I talk about this idea of a grand gesture, and that's maybe more modern language, but it's as old as the Old Testament altar. I mean, Noah building a big boat. I mean, that's go big or go home. That's a grand gesture. It's Abraham putting Isaac on the altar, or David's duel with Goliath, or Elijah and the prophets of Baal, or even Elisha, the Old Testament Elisha, burning his plowing equipment. That there comes a moment, and those who are listening right now, the Holy Spirit may even be quickening something to you right now. There comes a moment where it's now or never, where you've got to take one small step of faith, and it creates this domino effect in your life. It becomes a tipping point or a turning point. And so my hope and prayer in writing the book is that it would create some of those moments in the lives of readers.